I remember one of the very first trainings that I was a part of, maybe been one or the two, phase one or two, that I remember a post about branding and what type of brand do you want to project. And so that was really important to me. I have a background in marketing. And so I really thought about that for a long time. And really, it's really important for me to be real and honest, transparent, to attract, like equals like. So I tend to, the folks that I'm helping tend to have either the same issues or problems that I've had. And so I relate to them. So that was the first thing. I started posting about my story and just being completely honest about it. And then I was very consistent with my posts. I will say that I did the trainings repeatedly. It was very important to me to understand how everything worked. I'm not a person who asks for someone to hold my hand. I want to know how it works. So I did a lot of personal development. I actually have, this stays with me at all times, the vital behaviors, except for I changed it a little bit. Instead of 1, 2, and 3, I have 1A, 1B, and 2, because it's important for me to be the proof of the product first. I've listened to the National Wake Up Call, and one of the things that resounded with me was that there was one of them that I can't remember who it was that said it. Danielle, somebody, was talking about how it was important that your fitness is important. And if your fitness is not important, then you can't build your business. So I kind of switched that around. Other than that, I've just been really adamant about reaching out to people, inviting, communicating, and all of my invites. I started with just the messaging, but I felt like sometimes that was a little cold, and I'm not that. I'm not a cold person. I'm very warm-hearted. And I want it to be, this is a very personal thing. This journey is personal. It's not just about losing weight. And so when someone reached out to me, I thought it was important to either talk to them on the phone or do the audio messages through Facebook so they could actually hear my voice. I think that really was a turning point. I think I started to build more relationships with people because it didn't come across as me just typing a scripted something or another. Because sometimes I felt like when I was typing out messages back and forth, I felt like I was repeating myself over and over again, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I didn't want it to come across that I had some sort of script that I was pulling from. So I wanted it to sound authentic. So I started doing the audio clips, and then started picking up the phones. I've even met people face to face, just to make them feel more comfortable with me so they know that I'm not a salesperson, because I'm not selling anything. I'm just, trying to inspire people to do the same thing that I did. I just so happened to use it to do this, and it worked for me. So once I got people to join me, I found some people who really wanted to build the business. And since I had already done so much reading and knowledge, looking for knowledge, there was many a night that I didn't go to bed till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning because I read something that was posted by Chris, actually. There was a section of a book that said that most people, a lot of things can happen between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. And I started doing that. After my kids go to bed and all that stuff, I would sit there and I would just work. I would read. I would do whatever I needed to do. And so when my folks came on that said, I want to be a coach, I started pouring my knowledge into them. And I touched base with them every single day. The people who wanted to build the business, I touched base with them every day. I either give them some sort of confidence booster, or hey, how you doing, or a tip, or I looked and I saw this is where you are with Success Club. You only need to do this one more thing. or my 2 emeralds, I called them up and I said, you only need one more person. You can get one more person, you can be emerald. And as soon as I started helping them understand, and they knew that I was on their side, they were ready. They wanted to do it. And so that's what's happening. I call them, I'm in touch with them. I'm very active in the challenge groups. I use my challenge groups also to talk about the coaching experience. I didn't at first. I didn't know if that was appropriate, but I do. I do use it as an opportunity to talk about the coaching experience. I have people that are like, it's not for me? Of course. But that is an audience. That is people who are doing this. So they're going to get people, they're going to inspire people regardless. So they might as well coach. So I talked to my challenge group about the coaching opportunity. At this point, I say, there was a call also that I was on that they asked if we were a 1, 2, or a 3. And I've applied that to a couple of other things. I asked my group that if they were 1, 2s, or 3s. And I'm a 3. I don't know if y'all could tell that, but I'm a 3 in everything. I'm a 3 in the journey. I'm a 3 in the coaching experience and the coaching career. And so I just have I think it's important for my challengers to understand that the losing weight is a surface reason. That's what I tell them. It's a good reason to start, but it's not the only reason to stay. And so that's really, I've done nothing other than be who I am, nothing else. And it's worked so far.
All right. Awesome. And then another thing, I told you when we talked on the phone earlier, I made didn't I? I did.
Yeah.
One of the tips that you had said that you learned from training that you've used, and that has really started a lot of new conversations, because we know that this is really all about building relationships and conversations and gaining people's trust that way, and putting the people first, and not really putting the sell first. So right. You had mentioned that you was people that had hit like on your post before that maybe had been about weight loss or something related to being a coach, that you had went back and messaged them. And I know that we had a big message feed going on there for a while, and we had talked about like the importance of going back and contacting those people and just thanking them for them just hitting like. So I was going to have you elaborate on that too.
I actually started doing that before. I was doing that before because it's a big deal to put yourself out there. So when people would respond or just hit like, I would thank them for it, either in a comment or a message. A couple of challengers that I've received here in this last month was just based off of that. Just starting the conversation, and then immediately, I didn't have to say anything. I didn't even do the open-ended question. I would just say, I started doing that, but I would just say, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. It's hard to put myself out there sometimes, but to know that people are getting some sort of encouragement from it. And they would send me these big, long messages about how they needed to get back on track or how they used to be. And they need to see my post every day. My posts did this. And the conversation would go and go. And we would go back and forth. And then finally I'd say, why don't you try it with me for 21 days? Let's see what happens. Get back on track. You can totally do it. So it was just a matter of paying attention to the people who were following me and thanking them for taking the time for either reading or looking or liking or commenting. And it's helped me kind of build relationships that way. So yeah, it definitely has helped. I would definitely encourage you to do that. To go through your posts. And I don't have my book down here, but I have a binder with profiles of people who have liked my pages, my posts, and I just kind of keep track of where we are in the process. And I would definitely encourage everybody to do that, because I've got so many different irons in the fire, I guess, so many different conversations at different levels, just because I've started a conversation by saying thank you.
And I like that you added that you have a binder, because I have a big notebook and I keep track with all these new conversations, because it gets to a point where if you're not writing it down or what you talked about, you forget or you lose that person, because we're doing so many messages a day. Like even going back and reverting to your messenger for your resource of who have I talked to, people get lost.
Yeah.
So I think it's vital to be having a notebook where you're tracking these conversations and these relationships and, what you've talked about so far. And I think it also shows that you're being very humble when you are messaging people and you're thanking them for just hitting like that simple task of just hitting like on your Facebook post, and you're thanking them for that. I think that it just kind of shows how humbling that is to you, that you're willing to reach out to them and just thank them for it. So I think, a lot of people, when they get a message like that, they do want to respond back to you, because they realize just by simply hitting the like button, that meant something to you.
Because it does. I mean, it really does, because, it's not, before I did this, I barely posted on Facebook pictures of myself, because I was just embarrassed because of the way I looked, the way I felt. I didn't want to share my life with anybody. I was too embarrassed to share my life with myself, honestly. So the fact that it means a lot to me that somebody even responds in any way, because, they took the time, and that means a lot to me. It encourages me to keep going.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share that with us. I really appreciate it. We have about 5 minutes left. Do you guys have any questions for Chris and I, or Bree, or anybody you can think of? All right. So I guess the one thing that I wanted to kind of, I hear somebody.
It's Misty.
Oh,
Bree, and you incorporated discount coaches in hopes to try to also get them to coach as well, correct?
Yes, I did.
Find it helpful for you?
Yes, I did. I did start doing with a VIP. That's how I started to build the business. But it was the folks that were VIP already that reached out to me that wanted to and go ahead and coach. So yes, I did start with the VIP, because to me it's a no-brainer. I started with that personal development, just watching videos of how other coaches do the whole conversation with the challenge pack and the signing up automatically as a coach. I found some verbiage that I really like through Coach Jimmy, which you can look him up. And it really is very simple. I just ask everybody if they see success in the first 21 days, would they be willing or would they want to stay on the program? Most of them, if not all of them, say yes. In which case I say, all right, well, you're already getting this pack at this huge discount. You might as well continue to never pay retail for Shakeology ever again. So what I'm going to do is going to sign you up as a VIP. I'm going to send you a link that's going to take care of that. And I give them the whole ins and outs of how that works, how it can save them money each month. And I have 100% return on that. Presenting it to them that way, I have 100% return.
Awesome. I was thinking so, and yeah, it works great. Awesome. Great story. Thank you for sharing. That's great.
Thank you.
You'll all notice with Bree is that not only does she repeat training, but she finds information herself too. So you got to know, like, there's so many coaches, and Coach Jimmy has been a coach. He's like one of the first coaches. I mean, he's been a coach for years. So for us to not go out and look for more resources, because there's more than Chris and I, and maybe our approach may not be the best approach for you or not your style. And the same with Brooke. So it's always nice to go out and really, go to YouTube. There's so many people, Lindsay Matway, Coach Jimmy, Anita Myron, Amy Silverman, Melody Mitra, like some of the Josh Spencer, who is part of our upline. There's so many amazing coaches out there that have been successful. It's crazy for us not to be doing our own research and really digging into coaching. If we really want to make something of this, the best thing that you can do is to search for the information yourself. And the great thing is, like, YouTube is free. Like, this information is right there. The National Wake Up Calls happen every week. The National Wake Up Calls are inviting coaches to speak about their business and how they've created success. So this is free information that they're giving to us and helping us out with. So I really like that Bree, she goes out and she searches for more than just what our team training has to offer.
And at a minimum, you should at least be listening to the National Wake Up Calls for your PD, because they are amazing.
I also use the training library on the COO. There's a ton of information on there. I read that a lot in the very beginning, and just searching for keywords and FAQ.
FAQ is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we have like less than a minute. So one thing that I just also wanted to kind of end the call on is it's November. This is really a great time to, instead of waiting till the last minute to get your points in or to find your challengers to do your challenge group, really start planning now what you want to do, and really start planting those seeds and planting posts and sharing. Bree said consistency. She posts 3 times, if not more, a day, and she is super consistent. That is part of her success too. People see her posts, they watch for them, they message her. We were talking earlier, she said that they would message her. It may not even be a fitness related post, but they would message her just to talk about it. So it is vital to be present for your followers. If you're not there, they don't know. I mean, there's so many multi-level marketing things. People don't know, okay, are they still coaching? Are they not coaching? Is this like a fad thing that they're doing, this phase that they're going through? So let them know that you are here, you are present, and you're here every day. You want to be consistent with that. And you really want to set November up to be strong. So you've got to start right now and start kind of planning what you want to do from here on out for the rest of the month, instead of, really waiting until that last minute. Okay, I know it's going to end my call here shortly. I really appreciate you guys being on here. I'm going to upload this to YouTube, so if any of your coaches missed it, it will be posted on the team page.